Corona, Vi for virus, D for disease, and 19 because it started last year. The name, though, of course, isn't the most pressing concern.
The year is 2020. A wild pandemic has appeared trying to kill off half the planet. However, whilst all this is happening, a new game pops up out of nowhere. That's right, it's the game this video is about. Among Us. From humble beginnings to being all over the world with the biggest streamers in the world playing it non-stop, it quickly became one of the biggest games at the time and it was everywhere, but now it is nowhere. So what happened? How did Among Us go from everyone playing it non-stop every single day to now you're lucky if you even hear about it? Well, that's what I'm looking at in today's video. Before this video does start, if you guys do enjoy, I'd really appreciate if you liked and subscribed and consider joining the Discord, which is linked below. I'm done with my self-promotion now. Enjoy the video, man. Okay, so when Among Us first came out, it was nowhere near as popular as it was when it was at its peak. Before it became the hit game that it is today, it had a 24-hour peak of around about 8 people. So it released in 2018, but it didn't gain its popularity until the summer of 2020 when no one really had anything to do. However, unlike most games having a well-known release, this game just appeared one day. Now with its rise to fame, it was no surprise that all these different content creators decided to jump on the bandwagon. I'm sure I don't need to explain this, but with all these huge influencers making content on the game, more eyes would see it and more people would start playing it. Among Us was one of the best party games to come out in recent times. With its simplistic game design and easy to understand gameplay, it made it so anyone and everyone can enjoy playing it. However, that same thing of it being simplistic is what, in my opinion, caused its downfall. But before we get to that, it's important to say that Among Us succeeded because of the idea that was behind it. As we all know, murder mystery games seem to do well no matter what platform is. Just look at Roblox, one of the most popular games is Murder Mystery 2. Hell, you have a board game and movies about murder mysteries. Safe to say that murder mysteries are very popular. The deceit, the betrayal, the alliances that you make along the way whilst trying to find out who the imposter is, just to find out that one of the people you trusted the entire time was the imposter. It made you think so logically that even though it's very easy, every single move someone made you had to be aware of. With its complex design but easy to understand gameplay, it made it such a great game that everyone was enjoying it. I mean, it has a whole term that was coined around the game, which is sus. There's so many clips of people having a good time with this game, so why did it fall off? Why did I say that it's the thing that made it so great was its downfall? Well, that's simple. Although it was good and very fun because of its simplicity, it got boring eventually. Whilst Among Us was amazing, it could only last so long because of the game's repetitive cycle. Whilst the game devs did try to push out new updates, there was only 4 of them and they were in college at the time, so they couldn't really do much about the insane popularity that Among Us recently got. Yes, that's right, when Among Us came out and rose to popularity, it had only 4 college students working on it at the time. Of course, they never expected the game to get as big as it did, so when it did, they couldn't really keep up. And because they couldn't keep up, it made the player base bored of the game to the point where they stopped playing it. Of course, eventually they did start to roll out updates, but by that point the players had already started leaving the game and it had already died. It didn't matter how many skins, how many maps, how many new cosmetics that they added, how many new roles, it didn't matter what they added. Most of the player base had left, and as soon as that happens, your game's sort of on the backbone and you sort of have to pray for a miracle. That is sad and unfortunate how it's the fall of one of the best party games of all time. Of course, it's a game that we're all going to remember and we all have memories playing with our friends, but on those days, the game has gone. It's never going to get its prime back, and unfortunately, that is the case that Among Us is in. The game still has a steady player base, but unfortunately, it's nowhere near what it used to be, and I don't think it ever will be again. If you guys agree or disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.